VahiGuru, 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 VahiGuru।
मात गर्भ में है आपन सिमरंदे, तह तुम राखन हारे। पावक सागर अथाह लहर में, तार हो तार नहारे। माधो तू ठाकुर सिर मोरा, इहाँ उहाँ तुहारो तोरा। इहाँ उहाँ तुहारो तोरा। गुरु प्रसाद संग रमल की फतेह पाएं जी। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। Satsang ji, last week we got to the end of Pauri 28 of Anand Sahib, which is the fifth Bani we should read in the morning. And it's also the fifth Bani that's used to make Amrit. We read the first 5 and the last bit during Rara Sahib, and also a lot of people read it for doing Pogov apart. But we should try and learn the whole Anand Sahib. And if we do it every day, then we will end up getting it memorized. Because many people have the first 6 memorized. We do it daily. And at the end of the Panchbaniya, when we finish the Panchbaniya Katha, it's not going to be too long from now. We're going through slowly, but we will get there. But when we do that, we will then go through the Mahattam, the meaning of each of the Panchbaniya, and basically summarize why we should read the Panchbaniya, what each one brings something special to us. So we'll get to that point then. But last week we looked at Pauri 28, which was Maharaj says in that Pauri, they say, Mata ke udar mein patpal kare, so kyo man ho visari hai, man ho kyo visari hai, e vadudata. जे अगने में है आहार पहुँचावे, उसनो के हो पोहे न सकी, जिसनो आपनी लिव लावे, आपनी लिव आपे लाए, गुरमुखे सदा संभालिए, कह नानक ए वडो दाता, सो क्यो मन हो विसारिए. Maharaj asks that question. They say, why do you forget VahiGuru? Why, not just any VahiGuru just created us, but the biggest giver of all, E Vadadata. And not just forget him from, I saw today somebody put posters outside, our walls don't forget our Guru. Our walls don't forget our Guru. On our houses we've got posters up. But our mind forgets the Guru. The first time you look at that picture, you think, yeah, I think about my Guru. Once you've been in that room for a long time, even if you walk into that room and previously you were like, oh, Guru Nanak Ji's picture, now the mind forgets that it's Guru Nanak Ji's picture. The mind forgets Guru Nanak, it gets habituated to it. And it no longer ignores it, it just blends into the background. So it's the mind that is the problem. So kyo manho visariye. Why do we forget him from our mind? Why? Because he's looked after us from the time that we were in the mother's womb. When there was... Now, we haven't got much of a Sikh Panth view on abortion. When Gyani Kulwant Singh came down here, I said to him, we need to have a discussion amongst the Panth about some of the new issues that are coming up. Because we haven't got a Panthic view. There's no view on abortion. There's not many views given on stuff like homosexuality, hermaphrodites. Many things that we've sort of like, we're living in Punjab 50 years ago. We haven't really thought about the new world. We haven't got a view on them. And I was saying what there should be is all the Pracharaks, all the Mahapurushas should have a Sant Mandli, Gursikh Mandli. We should have a decision made about certain things, some guidance. And he agreed with me, but there's no such situation at the moment. There used to be. We used to have every year, twice a year, the Khalsa Panth would meet together. Okay, and any issues that were coming up, they would be discussed. What in our problem we put in our Panth now is, there's no such discussion. What what happens, isn't it? If people get together, what do they start doing? Arguing and shouting. And most of the Mahapurushas and stuff don't actually want to get together because they think it's ladai honi hegi hai. Because the people that organize those events, they tend to be Sansari people. Yeah. So when they come to Sansari people convention, they say, what's the point of me going to this place to talk about these things? no, किसी ने सुनी नहीं मेरी गाल. Yeah, so they stay away. So, for example, in this situation, Maharaj is saying that He's looked after us from the point where we were in the womb. But we know that the soul joins to the body in the womb. But when that is not being decided by anybody in our Panth. There are much Banis, there's many Mahaprabhus have given talks about this, but it needs to be agreed upon that where is it murder or where is it not murder? Is it murder all the times? Anyway, we can't go into that, I digress a little bit. The point is though, is that from when that soul and the body met in the mother's womb, for all of us, jo bhi the baitha hai na, happened to all of us. When it met together, when that connection happened between the two, from that point on, Akal Purakh has been taking care of us. From that point, both the body and the soul. It's not that Akal Purakh isn't taking care of the body in the womb, it is. And it's taking care of the soul from before, from all these ages. But from that point, when that Jeev was created, from that point, then he was taking care of us. And Bani is clear that we do have consciousness in the womb. It's not from the date of birth is not the point. From that point when we come out, then we have consciousness before, even in the womb. And what are we doing in that time? We're saying VahiGuru, VahiGuru, VahiGuru. We're saying protect me. We're saying save me. Because we're in that dark place. It's hot, effectively, compared to the outside world. We're in like a fire. It's like a mini hell. And in that mini hell, we're scared. Are we going to survive this? What's on the other side? What's going to happen to us? And because we're scared, but we're helpless, we can't do anything. So we fall at our Guru's feet and we do ardas. Not to our Guru, we ardas to Akal Purakh ki mainu bacha lo, rakh lo. Yeah? The Shabad at the beginning ki Maat garab mein apan simran de. In the mother's womb, Akal Purakh gives us simran to do. Remember. Simran means to remember. Even you can take that word to say maran. The right way to die. To die of the ego death. Now, when the soul is connected to Akal Purakh in the womb, it's begging ki let me live. And it does ardas with full heart. Pavak sagar ataha lehr mein tar ho taranhari. Maharaj goes on in that Bani, in Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, that in this world then, which they describe as a Pavak Sagar. A Sagar which is an ocean of fire. Now we've come out of that fire of the womb, come into this world, this is a fire as well. And it take a market, Taro Taranhari. You save me there, now over here, save me as well. And this is what this body is talking about. So we forget Him when we come out. When we are helpless, we turn to Him, we say, save me. But now when we come into this world, what happens? We start to think that we can do something. And because that homme comes up, homme sab sarir hai, homme opat hoy. Homme is in the body, and homme is when we are created, then the homme comes in. As soon as the soul is out, and it's no longer in the mother's womb, it feels it can do something for itself, and it stops turning to VahiGuru. And why do we forget VahiGuru? You know as well as I do. Because we forget, because we think other things are more important. We have other worries. And also, we become a bit ungrateful. We start thinking that main aap kita hai. Maharaj says that he's taken care of us a whole life. We start thinking, nahi, this is what I made myself. Come home from work, got a promotion. Everybody's giving us well done. Yeah? We start thinking, yeah, I got this promotion for myself. But we don't say, VahiGuru, thank you, you got me this promotion. You gave me the brains, you gave me the ability, you gave me the sukh shanti that I could work hard, you gave me the motivation. All those things that we assume we done for ourselves, but how much do we actually do for ourselves? We can't even make our heart beat. We can't even make our heart stop beating. I tell my kids, they say, I can't help it. Sometimes they say, I had to add that chocolate, I just couldn't help it. I'm like, don't say that, you can't help it. You got some control. But at the same time, we have no control as well. We have to understand, we have no control. We have no jor. Now, we survived that dangerous place, but in that dangerous time, to save ourselves, we did Simran. Now in the next body, Maharaj was talking about, that in this dangerous place, you should do Simran as well. We don't see it dangerous, but we have to do Simran. And we have to remain thankful. I wanted to start off with a Sakhi, because sometimes we start thinking, I should do more for myself. And then because of that, we start thinking, well, I should forget VahiGuru and do more for myself. Otherwise, I'm doing myself a disservice. So there's a Sakhi, Anand Singh's Katha. He was talking about a Sheikh Saidi. And he was going away on to the Hajj. Now, a Muslim should go on Hajj, right? That's one of their niyams in their dharm. So he's traveling towards the Hajj, and he sees a poor person going on the Hajj. This person was so poor, his clothes are old, slippers are old, and then his slippers ripped, and he had to walk upon the reta himself and walk on the sand. The sand obviously soaks up heat, so now the sand was really hot. If you ever walked on the beach when it's a sunny day, you know that. It's so hot, he couldn't walk about. It was very hard for him, and it started burning his feet. Then he saw a rich man go past him. And this rich man was on a horse. Not only was he on a horse, he had very nice shoes as well. Now he wasn't even walking on those shoes. So the poor man, Allah, what kind of justice is this? Yeah? We say, Maharaj, you are the person who always gives us the right justice. Yeah? But here, he says, what kind of nyao is this? एक इरा इंसाफ हैगा, एक इरा न्याय हैगा. ना मेरे को जूते, ना मेरे को घोड़ा. हैं? ये देखो जूते भी हैगे, ते इधर घोड़ा भी हैगा. ना वो बरत रहे जूते. So then he finally gets to the masjid where he has to go for the Hajj. Yeah? He gets up there, and as he gets there, he sees a guy with no legs, and he's crawling using his arms. Now the guy gets to the masjid. When he gets there, this guy crawling, he says, Allah, thoda shukr hai. Thank you for the arms that you gave me that allowed me to drag myself in. Now this man who was moaning about what kind of justice is, suddenly feels but this big. And he thinks to himself, because why can't I be like this guy? Thankful for what I do have. What we have is by our own karma. Pishle janam de karam hai. This janam, pishle janam. We've got so many karams, we don't even know what our karam is. In fact, if we saw our karam, we'd probably freak out. There's people that if they saw their karam, they would give up on walking upon the spiritual path. There's a reason why we don't see them. Imagine if you were swimming, and you're trying to swim to get to the top of the river. If you could see what was pulling you down, you might think, forget it. Every day we're fighting. Every day we're fighting with our kaam, krodh, lobh, moh, kha. But imagine if we could see how much karam we're dragging with us. Mountains worth. There's a bani, Jeta, Samund, Sagar, Neer, Parya. Tete Afgan Hamare. Imagine if we could see we had this big weight of our Pishte karam. We would think, Hona nahi. We'd give up. It's the ignorance that makes us think, actually, ho sakta hai. And actually, it ho bhi sakta hai. But when we see that mountain, when we see that amount of stuff we're carrying with us, we might give up. So Akal Purakh in their daya doesn't let us see it. He lets us think we can do it. Because he gives us something even better than seeing what's holding us down. He gives us a solution to burn it away. Naam Japana. In Jaisee ki baat, Guru Maharaj gives an example. They say if you had a tear of pap as high as this, and you just had naam, this pap is like straw, and the naam is like a spark. One spark towards a mountain of straw. Who's going to win? The spark. No, it's that powerful. So we don't have to worry about how much we're carrying with us. We just have to know what we have to do to get rid of it. Even medical people, they don't always tell you the whole detail. You might freak out. They just give you the medicine, khala, theek ho jana. They might not even tell you what might happen to you anyway. They just leave it quiet, khala, dawai khala. So in the same way, sometimes we don't understand why we are where we are, why we have what we have. But we know for one thing, that Akal Purakh is not hateful. Nirpo, nirvair. Got no fear, got no vary. Doesn't hate us. Tu sadas da deyala. In this Shabad by Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, there is a Shabad by them, which everybody's probably heard. Ki ham murak tum chatur se aane. Yeah, do you know the Shabad? Ham maile tum ujjal karte, ham nirgun tu data. In that one, Maharaj says, Madho ham aise, tu aisa. Then they say a very beautiful part of it. They say, Tum karo pala, ham palo na jane. You do good, but I don't see it as good. Tum karo pala, ham palo na jane. Then just to remind ourselves, they say, Tum sada sada dayala. You are always compassionate. It's sada plekha ki VahiGuru might hate us. In fact, if you look at Bani, Maharaj Kabir Ji goes even a bit further. He says, Bande bandagi ikhtiyar. They say focus upon VahiGuru, do so much bandagi, single focus. And he goes, Sahib tos roz taro ke pyar. Even if VahiGuru hates you or he gives you love, still worship him. Because he goes, Kaho Kabir, gulam karka. He goes, I'm a slave of your house. Main thoda kutta hai, I'm your dog. I'm a gulam, I'm a slave of yours. And then jiave pave mar. Either let me live or kill me, it doesn't make a difference to me, I'm your slave. So the mentality that we have, that we get upset about what we don't have, what we do have, all of this stems from ego. It stems from not understanding that Akal Purakh is in charge. Not ego as in ahankar, but homme. Because homme is much deeper than ahankar. It's much deeper. Yeah? And this is where we start to think about ourselves and forget that Akal Purakh is in charge. So Maharaj tells us that we should do ardas and say thank you VahiGuru, and we should fall at his feet. This is the shabd we read last time as well. Ki Dine hasta pav karnit rasna tise tyag avar sangrachana. The Akal Purakh, give me my hands, my feet, my ears, my eyes, my tongue. You give me all these things. I always use them in the wrong way though. But you give me all these things, but we forget him and we get attracted to other things. Then Maharaj says, Aisa dokh mood andabyape. Idiots will, in the end, people that are blind like this, they will end up getting dukh with this. Nanak card leho prabh ape. Apni live, ape lai. Gurmukh siddhe tise samaliye. He himself attaches us to his own love. So if we find ourselves floundering in the worldly ocean, we found ourselves lost without the guide of the Guru, the only way to get the Guru is to come here and fall at his feet and says, Raklo. Yeah? This is the thing that it's our job to do. Saving is his job. Bachana oda kam hai. Our job is only to give the call to say, Bachalo. Yeah? Ab hum chali Thakur pe har. We've come to you, we've fallen at your feet. Jab hum saran Prabhu ki aayi, Rak Prabhu pave mar. Ya rakho ya maro, main thwada ya. This is the benti that kaho Kabir, Gulam karka ji aave pave mar. Save me, but I'm yours. So Maharaj then goes on that Guru Sahib is really here to teach us about what life is about. And the main thing is to trust VahiGuru, that everything is happening for the right reason. Then reduce our desires. Start focusing upon Naam. Then be thankful and content. As we reduce our desires, we become content. And then we start to awaken our spirituality. As we start to do that, we get all the cushion of the world, and the rest of the world won't even affect us. But it's a hard world. When somebody comes in from outside, I often think, like sometimes somebody walks into Katha Gurdwara, sometimes they come in first time in the Katha. They walked in the Gurdwara and they're like, whoa, ki ho raha hai? Angrezi in the Gurdwara? Ho hi nahi sakta. First, they never seen it. Secondly, someone started to explain to them this path of Sikhi, but it's too much outside their zone of reference. They never even thought about what spirituality is. I know Amritari people that have never met, never experienced Naam, never had that experience, and they've been Amritari for years. And they have to explain to them, you're missing out on something. There's something bigger. There is this thing called Tasam Dwar. There is this thing called spirituality. There is this thing with experience of VahiGuru. And it's something which is real, it's not something fake. Then they look at you like, really? Is it true? Hoi that? Because what is it become? It's become a very ritual kind of religion. Yeah? People are keeping their case because they think that I should look this way. Asi jatiyan, asi sardariyan. Yeah? Shahidan ne ki kita. They start thinking about shaheeds. And none of those reasons are totally wrong, apart from the Jat one. None of those are really wrong. But when they keep their case, what do they forget? They forget there's something more to it. The 10 gurus, they made this house. Then on the outside they put the color of the whatever coating you want of this roop. But the house is made of Naam. Nanak ke kar keval Naam. Yeah? Maharaj says, Nanak ki ardas sunije, listen to my ardas, keval naam hriday mein dije. In this heart, put only naam, nothing else. Don't put anything else. Don't put hatred, irka, don't put advat. Just give me naam in this heart. This is the ardas that a Sikh is supposed to have. So Maharaj is telling us how to live. The secret of happy life is about naam. Because in homme is only dukh. We might think it's great to have an ego, but it's only dukh. Homme vich pagat na hovi. Maharaj even goes further, homme vich jio band hai. The soul is entrapped. It's actually trapped in homme. It wants to get out of homme, but it's trapped. So in this Pauri 29, Maharaj is going to go on to now talk about what is the world really like. Because he explained he's looking after us from day one, but now he starts to talk about the world and what is it really that this world we're living in. What is it really? Maharaj says, Jaisee Agan Udar mein hai, Taisee Baahar Maaieaa. Maaieaa Agan sab ek ho jehi, karta khel rachaya. Jaate so paana ta jammya, parvar palla paaya. Live shudki lagi trisna, Maaieaa amar vartaya. Ehe Maaieaa jito hari visre, moh upjai pao duja laya. Keh nanak gur prasadi, jinna liv lagi, tini viche Maaieaa paaya. Jaisee Agan Udar mein hai, Taisee Baahar Maaieaa. Maaieaa Agan sab eko jahi, karta khelo rachaya. Maharaj says, just like in that womb there was fire, garmi si. We could have died there. It was a dangerous place. It was a bit scary for the soul. Secondly, it was a bit dangerous. When the child is in the womb, it's not a safe place. Every mother knows. They're all waiting, let the baby be born and I'll be happy. Bacha bahar nikal jave, sukh shanti naal. Yeah? Now, Jaisee Agan Udar mein, Taisee Baahar Maaieaa. This world that we're living in is just like that fiery ocean that was inside the mother's womb. The dangerous place that we escaped from. Out of the fire into the frying pan. Or what do they say? Out of the frying pan into the fire. We are still not safe. Asi bache nahi. When the baby is born, we say, Wah, bahut vadiya hoya. Parvar palla paaya. The parvar is so happy, the baby is born. Yeah? But the parvar should be like, oh, the baby is now coming to this world. It's still got a long way to go. Let's look at this. Why is Maharaj saying, Maaieaa Agan sab eko jahi? They're the same. Eko jahi means exactly the same. Maaieaa and the Agni, Agan is got a sihari, the fire in the womb. Sab eko jahi karta, Akalpur, the creator, the one who does everything, khel rachaya. He's made a game. It's a game that he's created. It looks very real to us, but it's a game even then. Now, why is the womb like this earth? Firstly, as I said, number one, it's dangerous. We can drown and burn in it. In Rara Sahib we read, Tit sarvarde pehle nivasa, pani pavak tinhe kiya, pankaj moho, pag nahi chale, hum dekha tai doob yale. Maharaj said, this world, you're making a house in a pool of fire. And I've seen many people burn and drown in that fire. So it is a dangerous place. Now, in the womb, VahiGuru was taking care of us because we had no power. But in this world also, why is it similar? Because in this world also Akal Purakh is taking care of us. Here we think that we're in control. He was in control in the womb. But the reality is, he's in control here as well. But dikhda nahi. Yeah? Adrisht hai. Dikhda nahi. He's gabul gab. We talked about this before, about the Amazon analogy of Sikhi, where if you order something from Amazon, you don't actually thank Amazon, or you don't thank the maker, you thank the person who sent it to you. There's many steps between VahiGuru getting that thing to you. And what we do is we forget that the one who sent it to us, we start thinking the person who gave it to us. The same shabd we talked about previously, Ki taro taran hare. Madho, I'm your slave. Maharaj says, Kite ko mere samane. The created thing, we think of it as like a mountain. Karan har trin jane. The one who did everything for us, the one who's doing everything, we see him as a blade of grass. No one pays any attention to a blade of grass. We pay attention to the mountain. What are we doing? We're looking at the one who's the created thing and thinking it's the most amazing thing and forgetting the one who made it. Surely, when you look at some beautiful place, you think, wow, how amazing. Look at the space. Look at the whole galaxy. You think, wow, how amazing. Everything is so amazing. How much more amazing must be the one that made it? With just one word. Just one word. Made all of it. Kita pasao, eko kawao. Apa kina bakbak karte hain? Look at myself, how much I talk. With one word, Akal Purakh made all of this. How amazing can VahiGuru be? Har beyant hum mit kar varno. Kya jana hoye kya sure. How amazing is VahiGuru? How will I know how amazing VahiGuru is? He's beyant. So, actually, He is taking care of us, but we need to do Simran and depend upon Him. And then just like we survived in the womb by doing Simran, here also, if we do Simran, we will survive and we'll get through. Because the real reason is this. I was thinking about this week. You know, it's very nice to have a week to think about a Pauri in detail. Tusi bhi kar lo, try one time, just go to Japji Sahib like we're doing now, read the Pauri in advance, spend the next week thinking about it. And you will get so much more laha from vichar of the Shabad, just to do vichar. So why is the fire of the womb much like the earth? Well, when the child is in the womb, it's doing Simran, right? Why doesn't he just get mukti there? Why come into this world? Because we still want to have a life. Even if we had to live in the womb, live chudki lagi trisna. Even though we had to live inside the womb, we still want to have a life outside. We achieved everything we needed to achieve really in the womb. We had connection to VahiGuru's name. But still we want to come into this world because it's part of this game. The khel, the separation and the connection. But if you look at the 10 months, 9-10 months in the womb, compare it to a life of 80 or 90 years, it's a very small period of time, you know? So we don't think of that as a formative point of our life. So चिंता नहीं होनी, छोटे से समझेगा. जिंदगी बहुत लंबी है तो जरा वेला गर्भ बिसेगा और बड़ा छोटा है. But in the same way, our soul has been around for so long, and this human life is only a small part of that journey. Just like the 10 months is nothing compared to the 80 years we're going to be alive, 9-10 months. In the same way, the time that we're here on earth in a human life is nothing compared to how long we've been around. But the problem is, we start treating this as the end all and be all. But it's not. It's just like that time in the womb. We have to go somewhere out of this. We should be thinking about this as a time of preparation. In the mother's womb, what happens to the child? From the fetus point, it's growing. Just like now, we keep changing. Our whole life we're changing. Never once have we stayed the same. Look at kids. Every time you see that your friends' kids, next time you say, "Tu bahut badal gaya." They don't say the same to us. But if you start looking at people, you say, "Tole aur aage." Tid bad gaya, tid kat gaya. We're always changing. We're always changing. Asi rukde nahi. Same thing happened to us in the mother's womb. We were changing from having just a clot to having arms and legs and developing in that way, then growing, and our brain growing. All the same way throughout our life, we've been changing throughout. But the child there, we think is finished his job when it comes in this world. But it's not. The whole point of this job was to develop. What was it for? We've come here to learn how to live. We've come here to develop Naam. Prani tu aya laha lan. Maharaj says, why? You've come here to do laha of Naam. The main reason we came here was Pai Parapat Manuk Dehuriya Gobind Milan ki ehe teri bariya Avar kaj tere kite na kaam Sarya ko mil saad sangat paj keval naam. We come here for this thing, but we got stuck in different things. Maharaj says, Prani tu aya laha lan lagge ki tu fakade sab mukdi challi ran. This life is mukri hagi hai. It's going. Don't get stuck in the wrong things. We get stuck in the wrong things. Even Maharaj goes further. They say in Bani, they go, Ayo sunan padan ko Bani. We've come here to listen and read Bani. Maharaj says, Naam visar lage hai analalach birtha janam prani. We came here to read Bani, but I'm going to digress a little bit. Mainu maaf karna. I was talking to somebody, they said their daughter was going to a Punjabi school, been going for many years, she's about 12, 13 now. She said that the child still couldn't read Gurmukhi. Going since she was about 4 or 5, still couldn't read Gurmukhi. Still stuck on Udar Ada Idi. Now you imagine, you send your kid to a nursery and gone to school, is sitting now in secondary school and still can't read ABCD. Who are you going to blame? The school. But also, Auntie Ji couldn't read herself. Parents can't read. Kids love reading books. You can read them stories all day long. Yeah? So if the parents don't know Gurmukhi, and the school isn't focusing on getting these kids to learn Gurmukhi, what's going on with our Punjabi schools then? Why are people spending years learning ABCD? Uda Ada Idi should be the first step. You should learn that within the first 2 days. You don't need more than 2 lessons to learn Uda Ada Idi. What you need to do then is start making words. What we've got a problem now is we're saying to Punjabi schools, I've sent my kids to Punjabi school and I took them out. They said they were getting so bored. Because what do? They give them a page of paper and say, keep writing Uda, Ada, Idi 30, 40, 50 times. Imagine going to school and they say, write A 10 times, 50 times. Kids will be thinking, am I mad? Let's start making words. Cat, dog. Soon as they can learn that there's letters, they make them words, so they start using it. We don't teach them to use it, so they think it's boring, they don't use it. We need to do things exciting for kids. Make them write things like Spider-Man in Punjabi, Superman in Punjabi. Why not? They get excited about that. Test them. Okay, let's make some words that you like. Dinosaur. Whatever they like, make them write it in Punjabi. Yeah. When we get them using Punjabi, then they won't have a problem using it. And they should be, in the first year, be able to at least read Gurmukhi. For the first year of Punjabi school, they should be able to actually read the first couple lines of Japji Sahib. If they haven't done that in the first year, the school and the parents have pretty much failed their kids. Because come on, kids not stupid, they can read English, they can read Gurmukhi. Gurmukhi is easier, isn't it? C-A-T, K-A-T. Now you put C somewhere else, put C-H, and it becomes Ch. How confusing is that for a kid? But in Punjabi, Chacha remains Chacha. Uda or Ada remains Ada. It doesn't change. It's easier. And I know when I was in Vancouver, there was a pog of an account part by a 9-year-old girl. Canadian girl, 9 years old, done a Saj part pog. Not account part, Saj part. And loads of people turned up. But then I met an 11-year-old kid, Amritari, had all his Satabani account. Yeah? Likhe and read Guru Granth Sahib years old. So these kids out there, and then we've got other people that 12 years old, 13 years old, been going to Punjabi school since they were 5, 6 years old, still can't read Gurmukhi. So we've got a problem. The first thing I would say is all the parents, learn Gurmukhi yourself. You cannot tell your kids learn Gurmukhi if you can't read it yourself. Go on our channel, watch the videos, learn Gurmukhi for yourself. Then teach your kids Gurmukhi. Your kids at 7, 8 years old should be able to read Gurmukhi at the slightest. My one could read it at about 5, easily. Yeah? And I didn't put any extra pressure on him. Just made him sit down every couple of days, do a bit of Gurmukhi. Every couple of days, bit of Gurmukhi. That's it. Drip, 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 it goes in. So, and there are kids that could do it even younger. Yeah? Many kids, much younger, can sit there and read Japji Sahib from a gudka. Okay? So, anyway, back to, we've come here to learn Bani. That's the main aim. And if you go to Punjabi school and the kids are going off to Punjabi GCSE, stop. You don't need a Punjabi GCSE. You need to go be able to read Japji Sahib Santhya, Jab Sahib Santhya. The progression of a Gursikh school should be to Bani, not towards grades and exams. No. If they can do Santhya Japji Sahib, that's the exam they need to have. You got kids who can say Punjabi school, A level, GCSE, put a good in front of them. And like, what do you mean you can't read a Gutka? Why did you go to a Sikh Punjabi school? If you want to go to Punjabi school, then go to a Punjabi school. Why is the Gurdwara getting a school that is teaching people to do A levels and GCSEs if they can't do Santhya or Bani? The aim should be, kinni Bani kant kiti hegi hai, kinna ka part tusi pad sakde hege. Yeah? Koi ayo, sunan, padan ko Bani. Yeah? The only test you know is, look at the kids that are 5, 6 years ahead of your kid, and how much part can they do. If they can't do part, don't put your kids in that school. Go and find another school that can teach part. For example, have a Gurdwara every Friday and Saturday evening. The kids They start off with Gurmukhi, there's about 400 of them. They start off with Udar, Ada, Edi, and they move straight on to reading part. Yeah? And then all the 12, 13-year-olds are doing Santya. That's the school we need. Yeah? We need to progress that. And it's a shame because those people are not supported. Those people don't find their support coming from the committees and from the Gurdwara. But they should be, because that is the ideal school of Sikhi. Get them on to reading part. So Maharaj says that this human life is very small actually, and they actually compare it to one night. I said to you earlier that we think it's short. It is short compared to the same like the time in the womb is short as compared to life. The same way the life is small as compared to our whole journey. And that's why there's so many shabads by Guru Nanak Dev Ji and the other gurus. They say the same word. Pehle pehre rain ke vanjarya mitra. So many gurus have written a shabad. I think the first guru, a third guru, fourth guru, fifth guru have all written Bani which says Pehle pehre rain ke vanjarya mitra. The first peher of the night. Why do they say that? Because they compare the whole life to one night. Ikrat, Ran is night, isn't it? Ran divas, tu hai hi gavana. So this whole life is one night, and the first peher is the first 3 hours. And how many pairs are there in a night? 4. Yeah? 8 peher of a whole 24 hours. So the night has got 4 peher. Each one is 3 hours long. So from 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 3, and then 3 till 6. That's night. So Amrit Vela is that last peher of the night. That's the last, from 3 till 6. Amrit Vela is actually part of night. It's not part of day. It's before the day comes up. So now Maharaj is telling us ki pehle peher ke vanjare mitra. They talk about our life as just that 12-hour period, and they describe what happens to us. So that is why our life is so short. It's very short. So Maharaj is telling us in this is Jaisee Agan Udar mein, Taisee Baahar Maaieaa, Maaieaa Agan sab eko jahi karte khel rachaya. He's made this game, and the aim of the game is to do something afterwards. Now, some people, they come into this world, they forget VahiGuru, they start thinking I'm in control, they start to become ungrateful, and they start to say, oh, it's a bit scientific, Sikh is very scientific. I heard a guy, he was criticizing in a blog. He goes, there was this Sakhi going around about a girl who did ardas when she was walking on the street. She did ardas, and there was a rapist who attacked people on that street. She didn't know, but she was not attacked. And then the next day, some other girl got raped, and she went to the police station and told them that I had walked down that street and I saw this guy, but he ignored me. And she asked him, why did you ignore me? And he said, I saw 2 big sings by your side. Because she did ardas and she was doing chope sada part if she was walking down that street. Bani can't hove na, to kar sakde ho. Not going to get your phone out and start doing part that way, are you? Can't karo Bani. Then, so she's doing her Bani and she's walking down the street. They said there was 2 sings by your side. There was no sings, but the Shaheed Singh has come down to help her. Hamri karo, haath de racha. The family of the Sikh. Maharaj says, protect my family. Now, this person was criticizing this story because he goes that Guru Sahib is not like this. That they protect one person and leave somebody else to get raped. People started telling their Guru what they are like. They didn't listen to the Guru Sahib, what Guru Sahib says. They start telling, why Guru? What should you be like? They start telling you what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. Sikh is very scientific, they say. So this week in the Hukamname, during this week, there was a Hukamname that kind of opened my eyes. Some Bani from Guru Maharaj, and I'll go to it now. There's a Shabad from Bani comes up. Sab ji tere dayala, apne pagat kare pratapala. VahiGuru, everybody is yours. Oh compassionate VahiGuru, everybody is yours. But apne pagat kare pratapala. But you protect your saints. Yes, he loves everybody. But those people that fall upon his path, that take him to be his, to be their own, and then he takes them to be his own, and he looks after them. Now that means that the ardas does work. Because if we start going down this view, that is so scientific, there's nothing to do ardas for, then what's the point of us doing ardas? So of course ardas is powerful, because VahiGuru can come and do whatever they want. And this is what Bhai Gurdasi talks about. There's a story about, Bhai Gurdasi writes a story. It's about Raja Hari Chand. He's a king of that time. he's got a very beautiful wife called Tara. Tara obviously meaning the stars, yeah. So Bhai Gurdwara says, Sukh Raje Hari Chand Karnar Sotara Lochan Rani. He had a wife with very beautiful eyes. Her name was Tara. Yeah. And what happens, they say, is that she Saad Sangat mein lagav de Rati Jaye Sune Gurbani. She was a Sikh. What she would do is she would get up in the night, obviously the last pair of the night, still night, from 3 to... She would go at night and go and listen to Gurbani. Rati Jaye Sune Gurbani. She go to satsang and listen to Bani. Now what happens is, in the middle, the king wakes up in the middle of the night, sees his wife is gone. That's what happens if you wake up at 3 morning and you come back by 6, they don't even notice you're gone. Because they don't even know. Nahi, I didn't hear you. Aram na. This is the way you can disappear and come back. So she'd been doing this, but then she got back, but one day he woke up at 4 and she was not there. So he goes, where's she gone? Next night, obviously he suspected something. The next night, because she didn't tell him, next night he stays up, she goes, he follows her. He goes to and she goes to the Saad Sangat. In the Saad Sangat, he goes left. Without telling me, she's come to the Saad Sangat. So what does Hari Chand do? He steals her slipper. She got 2 slippers, he takes one. She's going to come back and he's going to say, where's your slipper gone? At night time you had it, swere nahi haga. Where's it gone? He's going to catch out his own wife. The wife comes out of the Gurdwara, only 1 slipper. What does she do? She tells the Saad Sangat, my slipper's gone. I'm going to be in trouble. Saad Sangat said, let's do ardas. Let's do ardas, they said. They did ardas, till they found another shoe just like that one. She put it, went back. Saad Sangat Aradhya Jodi Judi Khadao Purani. They found another Jodi, Jud gayi. They found another one just like that one in the Saad Sangat, in the ardas. Saad Sangat ardas to Guru Maharaj, Arad ke Maharaj kirpa karo upon this Rani, odi laaj rakh lo. Then Raje, what is that? Raje Ditthe Chalat Eho. He sees this trick, this thing that happened, this story, this funny story that happened, and he goes, Ek khadav hai, doj vidani. Khadav is a jutiyan, hai na? He goes, wow, it's a miracle, vidani. So the ardases do work. Don't think your ardas will go empty. Ardases do work. If you need help, who are you going to ask? So like Ghostbusters, if you need help, you need to ask your Guru. Who else is more powerful? Sabte Vad Samrat Gurudev. Sab Sukh Pai Tiski Save. Who else will we do ardas to? We're going to do ardas to somebody else? No. Go straight to your Guru and do ardas to your Guru. And on this week in the Hukamnama, on Ang 900, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj gave this Shabad. Ramkali Mahalla Tija. Maharaj says, Idan te baisantar paage, Mati ko jal deh dis tyage, Uppar charan tale aakas, Kat mein sindh kiyo pargas. Idan is fuel, baisantar is fire. Idan te baisantar paage. The fire runs away from the fuel. You know that's not true. If you put fire on the floor and throw oil towards the fire, it would jump towards the oil. Yeah. Then they say, Mati ko jal de dis tyage. That water leaves the dust. You know that's not true. When you throw water on dust, it grabs hold of it and chikkad ban jandi hai, it becomes into mud. Now, what's happening here? And then they go, Upar charan tale aakas. Above me is upar charan. My feet are above, and underneath me is the sky. That doesn't make any sense either, right? Then they go, Kat mein sindh kiyo pargas. In a small cup, they made the ocean appear. What's going on here? Why is Maharaj talking some strange stuff, right? Maharaj says, Aisa samrat har jiyo aap, Nimak na bisre ji pagtan ke aat pahar manata ko jaap raho. They say, Aisa samrat har jiyo aap. Akal Purakh is this powerful, he can make fire run away from fuel, he can make water run away from dust, he can make things upside down. The rules of physics, he created. But he is nirpo, without fear. He can break those rules if he wants to. He does not have to live by his own rules. He is beparwa. We have to live by his rules. Sada kam hai hukum nu manna. Oda kam nahi hega. Oh hukmi hega. Hukmi means the person does the hukum. Hukmi hukum chalaye raho. The one who does the hukmi, hukum in his hukum chalaye raho. He makes us walk, but oh kiyega, oh hukmi hai. Nanak viksay beparwa. He's got no worries. He does not care that the laws of physics state that the water must flow down. He says, no, if I want, I'll make the water go up. Who can make Narasimha come upon this earth to kill Harnakash? Half man, half lion. Scientists haven't got to the point where they created hybrids. Akal Purakh came down as Narasimha, half lion, half man, and killed Harnakash. They have the power to break their own laws. They are nirpo. So ardases do work. This is our job as a Sikh, not to get too ahankari and start telling VahiGuru what they can't do. Our job is to bow our head down, listen to what Bani is saying about Akal Purakh, what he can and can't do, and listen to Guru Maharaj. Don't start giving dawah to the Guru what he can and can't do. Guru Sahib can do whatever they want. If they want, they can kill someone with a sword, bring him back to life. And they did that with the Panj Pyare. Oh bhi karke dikhata. Why do you think 10,000 people took Amrit on that day? You think there was Bakri inside that tent? If there was Bakri there, when they've heard it, a Bakri is nice and quiet normally. Yeah? When we were in the camp in America, at the bottom of the hill, there was the guy that owned the camp, the retreat. He had Bakriyan. And we had to go to sit outside his room to get Wi-Fi. So we're sitting in the car, and we're laughing at all the cows, the goats, the noises the goats are making. Very, very funny noises they make. If there was Panj Bakriyan sitting inside that tent, you would have heard them. 10,000 people there would have heard them. Meh. They would say, oh, there's goats in that tent. Of course there was no goats there. Maharaj did the thing that people were shocked and amazed by. Then they had that Amrit. Hayab Aad. They had that drink. Aab is water, the drink of immortality. Amrit. Aisa Samrat Har Jio Aab. He is that powerful. He can break his own rules. So when we come into this world, we look at this world and we say, VahiGuru, we think we're in charge, but we're not in charge. He is in charge. Jaisee Agan Udar mein, Taisee Baahar Maaieaa. He's always in charge. He saved us there, He's saving us here. He looked after us over there in the womb when we were helpless. Even here we're helpless. We think we're not, but we are, and He's taking care of us. You know, I said earlier, Jeta Saman Sagar Neel Parya, Te Agan Hamari. I've got so many sins, it's like an ocean full of water. As much water there is in the ocean, Maharaj says, that's how much paap I've got. Before that Shabad, what happens is that the person starts looking at the world and they go, wow, how great is this world? Tat Tirat Ham Navkhand Dekhe Hat Patan Bajara. They look at this whole game of the world and they start thinking the world is so real. But what happens is, after Gyan Khand, we go to Sharam Khand, get some Sharam. This person looks inside themselves, Leke Takdi Tolan Laga Kathi Meh Vanjara. They start looking inside in their own heart to see, let me weigh myself. What am I like? You know, we look at the world, we're always judging the world. We're always judging the world, what's happening in the world. Then they say, let me look inside and let me judge myself. Vanjara. Let me trade with myself, see what I'm like. What does the person say when they look inside? They go, Jeta Samand Sagar Neel Parya, Te Agan Hamari. They go, I got so many sins, it's like an ocean. How much water there is in the ocean, that's how much sin. They say, Daya Karoho, Kich Meher Upavaho, Dubde Patthar Tare. Say, Akal Purakh, do some daya upon me now. Kuch meher karo. Take some, give me, bless me. I am a stone that sinks. A stone will always sink. Patthar chud ke dekh lo. Very few stones will swim. But Deva Pahan Tariyale. Akal Purakh can make the stone Pahan swim across. So this is ardas to the Sikh. The Sikh says, I am nothing. Jera Agan barabar tappe Pitar vagge kati Pranvat nanak hukam pachane Sukh hove din rati. That's what they say next. They said, my heart is burning at the fire. What is the fire? The fire of the world. We think the fire is only in the womb, but it's here in the world as well. Maharaj says, Jira agana barabar tappe. It's burning just like it was in a fire, my heart. Pitar vage kati. Kati is a knife. They're saying it's like a knife is piercing my heart. Why? Because we're burning in Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. We're being looted by it. They're stabbing us. We've got great intentions. Tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and go Amrit Vela. Tomorrow I will do my Nitnem. Tomorrow I'll be a good Sikh. That tomorrow never comes for some people. Along the way they fall over. Then they cry inside. They go, why not me, Maharaj? Why don't I live a good Sikh life? This is what this is Bani is saying. Jira Agan barabar tappe. Pitar vage kati. I'm burning in this fire, Akal Purakh. I'm burning in this fire of Kaljug. I'm burning in Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Ahankar. So what should we say? Pranamata Nanak. Nanak is a benti. Hukam pachane. If we understood the hukam of our life, what are we here to do? This khel, karte khel rachaya, this game he's made, it's got a purpose. And the purpose of the human life is only to meet VahiGuru. It's not for anything else. Once we've met Akal Purakh, then we can do something good for somebody else. Vidya vichari ta parupakari. People want to do seva, but they can't do naam japna. People want to go and do help the homeless, etc., but they can't sit for 10 minutes and say VahiGuru. Now what is Bani saying about that avastha? About that state of our mind that can't even do seva? Maharaj says, Hom mein vich seva na hovei. You can't do seva in hom mein. Hom mein vich seva na hovei, ta man birtha jai. So the mind goes unfulfilled. It has a desire to do seva, but what happens is, it ends up with a Facebook post with our selfie doing seva. And it's all gone to waste. Because they didn't understand the point of it was to burn the ego, not to put it up on Facebook and get likes. You see what's going wrong? We don't understand what Bani is saying. We can't enjoy the Naam. So then we're just constantly throwing ourselves in the wrong way. We want to go this way, but we keep going that way. Because in home, we don't understand the hukam. Pranamata Nanak, hukam pachane. If we understood Akal Purakh's hukam, why we are here, why he made this whole thing, sukh hove, din rati, day and night we would live in peace. This fire of the world would not burn us. The fire is there, it would not touch us. Pohina sake kal. Kaljug would not touch us. Death would not touch us. Because we understood why we are here and we've got a purpose. Guru Sahib is here to give the hukam. And what is a hukam? Maharaj says, Eko naam hukam hai, Nanak Satgur diya pujai jiyo. The naam is the hukam, and Guru Sahib has made me understand this. Only Satgur Nanak will make you understand that your point of your life was to connect to VahiGuru. Not to say VahiGuru. Sari aakho VahiGuru. 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 मेरी गल मान लो सत्संग जी एक बेनती हैगी है. If you're not feeling Simran, then don't just walk home and say forget it then, it's not for me. Develop inside yourself the thirst for feeling Simran. Don't just give up on it, develop the thirst. Come here in the morning, come here at 4 a.m, fall down flat on your face. Maharaj kirpa karo. Give up everything that is standing between you and VahiGuru. Whatever is between you and VahiGuru, this part is like a wall. Onu fardo. Break it open and say, I'm ready for you now. I've come to your door, now you save me. I've come for Naam. If we live this life by sitting in a Gurdwara in that ritual of not surrendering ourselves and not feeling VahiGuru, we wasted this beautiful opportunity we've had to feel VahiGuru. Because what Maharaj says next is that the hukam Jate sapana ta jamya. We've come into this world by his pana. Jate sapana ta jamya. You've come here by his hukam. You didn't choose to come here. He decided you're going to come here. He decided what family you'll be born into. Akal Purakh decided which parents, everything that you're going to have. What does not happen to you? The fact that you're sitting here in a Gurdwara right now is his hukam. Jate sapana ta jamya. Parivar palla paya. The family got very happy when you came. 90% of the time they are very happy. Yeah, very happy. Sometimes when you're throwing food about and screaming, then they're like, oh, forget it, kyun aaya? Most of the time they're very happy, I got my child. Parvar pala paya. The woman is sitting there happy the child is getting older. Doesn't think he's going closer and closer to death. Doesn't understand he's got a journey to prepare for. The mother's duty is to prepare the child for the next journey, which is much longer. In the womb, even in this country where they drink and smoke now, even here they stop smoking and drinking when they're pregnant. Yeah. Here they know, in this time I got a responsibility now. I got to look after this little one. But when the child comes out of the womb, we have a bigger responsibility. We have to prepare it for the next life. Because this life is as long as that womb. 12 hours, Maharaj describes it. 12 hours. If you got told today you got 12 hours to live, imagine what you would do. But Zindagi, Maharaj describing is 12 hours long. From birth to death. You should read those Pauria. Go through the Pehle Pehle Nikar Manjare Mitra. If you can find it, go through it. There's quite a lot of Vaniya that explain what life is like. So we're born by His hukum, but family gets very happy, but live shudki lagi trisna maya amar vartaya. Then the live that we had in the soul, in the womb, the connection with VahiGuru, or tutki, live shudki. It got broken, it got separated, and then what happens? Lagi trisna. Then we got desire. There we had no desire. There we were living content. You're taking care of me, I don't need anything. As soon as we come out, we start crying for milk, we start crying for love, we start crying for everything else. And from there, it's always I want. Ha, main. I was reading that Shabad, Varhan se mahalla tija, ha main naave naal viruddh hai. Doina vase ek thai. As I was reading it, I thought to myself, why not just say, instead of saying home, say ha main naave naal viruddh hai. Every time you read that Shabad, home comes to read it this way. Ha main naave naal viruddh hai. Doina vase ek thai. Ha main vich seva na ho gayi. Taman birtha jai. Read it, and then you'll understand, oh, it's about me. My problem is me. I'm my problem. My ego is my problem. Me always thinking about myself. This is my problem. My selfishness. My desire for more. My desires in general. They're all about me. We don't do sarbatta pala. We want our own pala. This is the disease that we suffer from. So, Maharaj is telling us that we've come here for a hukum. We forget that hukum and we fall into Maya Amar Vartaya. We fall into hukum of Maya. Maya has got a hukum, we fall into that hukum. Not the hukum of Akal Purakh VahiGuru. Maya is designed to confuse us and take us away from VahiGuru. What do we forget? We fall into that hukum of Maya and forget the hukum of Akal Purakh. Hukum Rajai chalna. Not the hukum of Maya, hukum Rajai. The hukum of the Akal Purakh VahiGuru. Who is in Rajai? Yeah? So Paath Saha Paath Sahib Nanak Rahan Rajai. He remains in charge. So follow his hukum, not the hukum of the one that he created, i.e. Maya. He created her, but we don't need to listen to her. Guru Nanak Ji Maharaj tells us we've come here, and people might say, well, it's too spiritual for me. Maharaj says, Char padharth la jag jamya siv sakti kar vastare lagi pukh maya jag magmo jo hai mukat padharth mohe khare. Maharaj, you've come here, in Maru Rag they say, Char padharth la jag janmya. You came into this world to get 4 things. You might think, finally somebody's telling me what I've come here for. Char padharth la jag jamya. We came here for 4 things. Char padharth. Siv sakti kar vastare lagi pukh. But the hunger attached to us, maya mag jo hai mukat padharth mohe tare. The 4 things are these, yeah? Taram, Kam, Arth, and Mukti. So we want to have some kind of Arth, wealth. We want to have some kind of Taram, righteousness, some kind of rule, some kind of religion, some kind of Maryada, how we're living in this world. Taram, then Arth is wealth. Then Kam means our desires. Yeah? So we have got desires for a house, for a family, for a partner. These will get fulfilled as well. But then the last one, Mukti. Now what happens is, we get attached to these first 3 things so much. Maybe not the Taram part, but the Kam and the Arth, wealth and desires. That the book becomes so high, we leave that 4th thing we were here to get, which is Mukti as well. So we live in the world, we live in the world, but we also get mukti. This is this path. So Maharaj then goes on to explain what happens. Ehe Maaieaa jit har visre, moh upje, pao duja laya. That this Maaieaa makes you forget VahiGuru. You get attachment to these two things mainly, earth, wealth, and your partners or whatever family. Moh jit har visre, moh upje, pao duja laya. Love for stuff other than VahiGuru. And Maharaj says, what happens then? Kahe Nanak gur prasadi jinna live lagi tinni viche Maaieaa paya. Those who are blessed with Guru's grace, gur prasadi jinna live lagi. Those who Guru Sahib blesses, to fall in love with VahiGuru. Those who sit and say VahiGuru and they're in Anand. Those who feel that love for VahiGuru, they inside the Maaieaa find VahiGuru. Just like in the womb we were lost, but we found VahiGuru's name and that kept us alive. In this womb of this world, in this life, those people who are blessed by the Guru will then start to say VahiGuru, and then they will make this life good because they will get those four things, but the next life will also be good. Tu thakur sir mora iha uha tumharo tora. You are my support in this world and the next world. Eh log sukhiye parlok suhele nanak har prabh appe mele. The point of it was not to get lost so much that we lose out on the fourth thing, mukti, through naam. Yeah, without naam there is no mukti. So for us, what we need to do is start to do real bhakti. Real bhakti means connecting to VahiGuru. Not just playing about it, not just going about saying, yeah, I'm a Sikh, I go Sunday Gurdwara, I do my bit of Paath once in a while. Nahi. ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਨੀ. We have to go one step further and actually get the thirst inside us to meet VahiGuru. And then whatever it takes we got to do. We have to surrender. Tane mane tane sab saunp gur ko, hukam maniye paiye, hukam manyo guru kera gavo sachi bani. It's all so simple, but it all seems so complicated. है तो बड़ी सिद्धि गल हैगी है, नाम जपो बाणी पढ़ो, है ना, मुक्ति ले लो. But why people get so confused about it, I don't understand sometimes. So we have to understand Bani. As you do Bichar of Bani, Tirath Naam Unjao, Tirath Naam hai. Then the Maharaj says next, Ki Tirath Shabad Vichar, Antar Gyan hai. The Tirath is Shabad Vichar. Here we've come today. Imagine if you went to India, went to Harmandir Sahib and had a shower, you think you get blessed. But Satsang Ji, if you spend an hour doing Bani da Vichar, you're going to Harmandir Sahib. Because you're going to the temple of God, because you're doing Gurbani Vichar. Gurbani Vichar is the highest thing in this world. So, Japa kariye, then our life will be blessed, and we will get to live in that Amarpuri, that forever place, which is much longer than these 80-90 years we have in this life. Bada lamba samaya, we got to spend there. Let's not throw that into the pan, just for the sake of these 80 odd years we have. Let's connect to VahiGuru. Sarya ko VahiGuru, 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 Guru Guru, Guru Guru, Guru Guru, VahiGuru, VahiGuru. Maharaj says, Har Aradhna Jana Re. I don't know how to worship God. Har Har Gur Gur Karat Re. I say Guru Guru and I say VahiGuru VahiGuru. Dono bande hegi. In Sikhi you can do Naam Japna of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's name. Jap Yojan Arjan Dev Guru, Fir Sankar Jon, Garab Na Ayam. If you jap Guru's name, is great. Jap his name. If you feel you can jap Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji, jap Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji. What will happen? Jis ditthe sab dukh jaye. Maharaj says, if you say his japyo Jin Arjan Dev Guru, you won't have to come back into this world. So jap Guru's name. Bolo VahiGuru, VahiGuru and Guru Guru, Guru Guru. So pula choke dikhaye Baksh ji, gaj gaj ke fateh akhne ji. VahiGuru ji ka khalsa, VahiGuru ji ki fateh.